Before we begin, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from tonight? Turn off the lights, grab your headphones, and get ready for something truly disturbing. Welcome back to Night Whispers, where real encounters blur the line between reality and nightmare. It all started back in 2015 on a lonely hiking trail in Arizona. I used to take 8 to 10 hour hikes alone just to clear my head and escape the noise of everyday life. That morning, I found a trail so hidden it felt like it didn't want to be found, tucked behind thick desert bushes, faded, nearly forgotten. The deeper I went, the quieter the world became. The air grew still, the trees turned dry, almost lifeless. Some had fallen across the path, forcing me to climb over rotting branches that snapped like brittle bones beneath my boots. Everything about that place felt untouched for years, like nature had sealed it off for a reason. I told myself I was overthinking, but then I heard it. A whistle. Faint, distant, but deliberate. A slow melody that rose and fell like someone humming a tune only they understood. I stopped, scanning the ridges. Nothing. Just desert silence. I shook it off and kept walking. But 20 minutes later, that same whistle echoed again, this time closer, sharper, the kind of sound that feels like it's meant for you. My chest tightened. My instincts screamed to leave, but I didn't. Not yet. A mile later, the trail was blocked by a fallen tree. I had to step off path, weaving around thick thorns, and that's when I saw it. A small den built from large sticks, deliberately arranged, too structured to be natural. Someone had made it. My skin crawled as the pieces connected. That hidden trail, the whistle, and now this den. I turned to leave, and that's when the whistle came again, but this time it was right behind me. My heart froze. I spun around and saw it. Not a man, not a hiker, but a goat. Except something was wrong. It was larger than any goat I ever saw, its eyes glassy, human-like, staring directly into mine. It stood still, unblinking. Then its mouth moved as if trying to form words, and out came that same whistle. My blood ran cold. I stumbled back, then bolted down the mountain, tripping, scraping, gasping for breath, until I hit the clearing near the highway. I never told anyone what I saw that day. Years later, when I first read about Navajo Skinwalkers, I knew deep down that's what it was.
But that wasn't the last time. When I was 8, my dad used to take me camping in Wisconsin. He loved to play pranks, and every year he'd take all the kids on what he called a snipe hunt, chasing imaginary bird-like creatures that only came out at night. It was all in good fun, or so I thought. One night, his friend Billy ran ahead, pretending to scout. Minutes later, we heard screams. Billy came crashing out of the woods, covered in fake blood, yelling that a snipe had attacked him. All the kids screamed and ran, and so did I. But I didn't stop. I ran deep into the forest until my legs burned, and I hid behind a thick bush, trying not to cry. The woods were silent for a long time. Then I heard it. Soft moaning, the kind that doesn't sound human or animal. I peeked out and saw something. It looked like a dog, but its legs were too long, too thin. Its face was twisted, almost melted, and its skin hung loose with patches of fur missing. My body froze. It walked by slowly, groaning, unaware I was there. When I heard my name being called in the distance, my dad's voice, the creature turned, locking eyes with me. Its pupils shrank like a person's under light. I felt my body go numb. Then, just as suddenly, my dad grabbed me from behind, pulling me out of hiding, scolding me for running so far. I turned back to point, but the thing was gone. I tried for years to convince myself it was just a big coyote, but that same feeling of dread never left. Only when I learned about Skinwalkers did it all start to make sense, and I wish it hadn't. Years later, after I got married, my wife and I moved to a remote cabin in Canada with our 2 kids. It was peaceful. Quiet mornings, our small farm, the sound of the river at night. Until one winter, everything changed.
It started small. The cattle would grow restless at night, mooing and stamping like they were being hunted. One night I saw why. Standing by the fence line was a deer, what looked like one, unnaturally tall, its head tilted too far, watching our home without blinking. I told myself it was just curiosity, but deep down I felt the same wrongness as that day in Arizona. A few nights later, my wife shook me awake. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. And I did. Something was dragging along the walls outside, slow, deliberate, circling the house. I loaded my rifle, checked every window, until I reached our bedroom. There it was again, the deer, standing perfectly still in the snow, staring through the glass, not breathing, not blinking, its eyes reflecting the faintest light. And then I saw them, human irises. The next morning, I hiked 3 miles to a neighbor's cabin. He was an older man, native to the area. When I told him what I saw, he didn't look surprised, only sad. "You shouldn't have looked at it," he said. "When they show themselves, it means they've chosen you." He told me about the Navajo stories of people who used dark rituals to become something not human, something eternal. I left that cabin shaking. I didn't sleep for weeks, and though the sightings stopped, I could never shake the feeling of being watched. One night, before we moved to the city for good, I stepped outside for air. Across the field, just beyond the tree line, 2 eyes gleamed back at me, pale and human. To this day, I don't know if it was real, but every time I walk past a forest trail, I swear I hear it again, that slow, haunting whistle echoing in the distance, calling me back to the mountain I should have never climbed. If you made it to the end, you're brave enough to sleep tonight, or maybe not. Tell me, do you believe in Skinwalkers? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more true horror that keeps you awake, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell, because next time it might not just be a story.